to live, work, and play. This Casey Cares segment was brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis. Even when the temperatures fall, who doesn't like a delicious bowl or cone of ice cream? Well, that's what sisters Amber Schreiber and Lindsay Krumholz thought, but their ice cream has a totally different calling. The sisters opened the Golden Scoop in Overland Park that combines their love of the sweet stuff with the mission to provide those with intellectual and developmental disabilities both a place to work, mentorship, and friendship. These super scoopers are learning on the job, earning a wage, and bringing smiles to all they meet. Joining us is Amber and Lindsay. We get both of you. Welcome to Casey Cares.
Thank you.
Well, I've been hearing about the Golden Scoop for a very long time from friends and acquaintances who know all about you. But in case there's folks out there that have no idea, tell us what the Golden Scoop is.
Yeah, we're a nonprofit 501c3 organization that employs people with disabilities. Our goal is to mentor, inspire, and equip our employees to be successful not only in their jobs, but in their lives as well.
That is so cool. All right. So, Lindsay, you start us off. Where did these two dynamic sisters, which you obviously are, how did you come up with this? This was not, you weren't in the food business. So how did this happen?
Yeah, so I've been in the field for 19 years working with the uniquely abled. I started in the Olathe School District with a young man that had autism. I just graduated from college and I really didn't know a lot about autism. But I jumped right in. Him and I made an instant connection. And I worked with him for about a year and a half. And then I had a little pressure from our dad to go and make more money. So I left for a brief time and went and worked for a local radio station here in Kansas City. And that really was not my passion. I realized that working with the uniquely abled was my passion. So I was fortunate enough to go back to the Olathe School District and work with all age ranges from elementary to high school. And then from there, I wanted to learn more. So I went and learned ABA, which is applied behavior analysis at a small private school, which then led me to in-home therapy. Being in-home, I worked very closely with the parents along with their kids. And so just listening to the parents' concerns, what does their future look like? Will they live with us forever or will they live on their own? Will they work? Will they have meaningful employment? So I approached my sister who has a business background and asked her if she wanted to take on a little journey with me to create meaningful employment for the uniquely abled. She ran with the business plan. We are modeled after Biddy and Bo's on the East Coast, which is a coffee shop, and then Howdy Ice Cream, which is in Dallas, Texas. And they both employ uniquely abled people. So, so we just married the two. We married the coffee and the ice cream and created the Golden Scoop.
All right. We've got to ask Amber, when your sister came to you with this idea, I would love to know what your first reaction was.
I don't know. I think at the time, everybody has a lot going on in their lives. And I think at that time, there was a lot going on with my family. And in my career and things like that. So it seemed very rewarding when she came forward. And we did talk about me moving forward with the business plan in 2018, but things, kind of got in the way, got busy. And then she returned to me the next fall of 2019 with a story about Howdy Ice Cream. And at that point, we're like, there is such a huge need across the country and even right here in our backyard. As we were working on the business plan, we learned that there's an 80% unemployment rate across the country for the uniquely abled. And then since starting the Golden Scoop and bringing on board members and connecting with people around Kansas City who are very in tune with the disabled community, we've learned there's at least 250,000 adults with disabilities who are unemployed or underemployed.
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we have a lot of work to do.
We sure do. So tell us a little bit about what you brought to the table. Lindsay was saying your business background. Share with us a little bit about what you brought into this concept.
Well, I mean, I have a business background and an MBA, but I keep telling people I'm earning my MBA right now in starting a business. It's been very humbling. What I bring, my strengths are I can execute. I have a project management background. That's what I've been doing for the last 10, 15 years. So I can execute, and then I'm resourceful. There's a lot of people that I've fortunately connected with over the years, throughout my career, that have pure intentions that we can trust, that fit, that have skill sets that we need. So we've reached out to them, and they've been super helpful along this journey.
So you took the dive in the fall of 2019. Yeah. It's always interesting to share with our audience, what were those first steps? How did you go about this fabulous idea, obvious need, and put it into action in a nonprofit?
Yeah, we asked a lot of questions. We knew we needed to put together, we got with an attorney, we put together the paperwork to get the business incorporated. That happened by December 29th of 2019. Then we submitted the paperwork in January of 2020 to the IRS to get our tax determination letter. Pandemic hits, we're told that it's going to be probably 6 months until we get that letter. And we really wanted to get going on the awareness and fundraising campaign to get the dollars to fund the location wherever we found it. Sharice Davids, political affiliations aside, her and her team came through and represented us very well. They got a liaison out of the Washington, D.C. office and got us the 501c3 letter in like a month and a half. So we're very grateful for that. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Bobby Keys, my partner with this webcast, will tell you that was really fast. And we had help trying to get ours through, but that's amazing. So I guess lesson is, as you said, don't worry about the affiliation. Reach out to your Congress people because they really can move. But you were doing this in a pandemic. How did you all do that? I mean, how did that impact your whole overall effort?
Well, 2020 ended up being a huge giving year for nonprofits because people were stuck inside. They couldn't spend the money to take vacations. So they were giving to nonprofits and making sure that they withstood the pandemic and the shutdown. So that we, pounded the pavement, went after people or solicited people, I should say, within our personal network, telling the story. We couldn't get loans. We couldn't win grants because we weren't established enough. We didn't, we hadn't progressed enough in terms of finding a location at that time. But once we signed the letter of intent on the 9540 Knoll location, and 41 Action News came forward to help us put the story out there about us having that location and here's the funding we need. That really, opened the floodgates for us in terms of funding, which was great. It took on December 3rd of 2020, we got our first grant of $25,000 from Veterans United Foundation. They've been fantastic. They continue to support us to this day. It took an internal employee of Veterans United Mortgage to go to their foundation and say, you guys need to, we all need to support the Golden Scoop because this is what they're doing and they're going to have an impact on the Kansas City community as a whole. And so that's how we got the $25,000. And then in January or February of 2021, we received a $50,000 grant from a private family foundation. And that was because of, that was through a friend of Lindsay's who she went to high school with. So we were very fortunate and grateful to have her alongside us and helping us with that.
Lindsay, it sounds a lot of this story is centered around connections and who you know. Can you talk a little bit about that and how important that has really been as you've brought Golden Scoop to reality?
Yeah, I mean, just working with families for the last 19 years, we had about 15 employees already before we even opened our doors, just from people that I had known. And then we were able to employ about 5 additional employees just because the word had come out about the Golden Scoop. And then with Amber's business background and all of the different corporate businesses she's been with, she was able to make a lot of connections with our mission and what we were doing. And she got a lot of help with the business plan and different things like that. So just through people that we've met through both of our careers in the business field and in the, working with special needs, we were able to make those connections and share our mission.
And you opened the doors to the shop officially?
April 14th of 2021. And the support was absolutely amazing. I mean, going back to Howdy and Biddy and Bose, we thought about franchising with them. But Amber kept saying, Kansas City is so loyal to local businesses. We can do this ourselves here in Kansas City. And on April 14th, they showed up and it was absolutely amazing. We had lines wrapped around the strip center. We were running out of ice cream, never stayed open our full time. And then actually that first Friday, the lines started forming again bright and early in the morning. People were buying ice cream at 7 a.m. And then at about around the 11 o'clock hour, our staff was just, you could tell they were overwhelmed and they come first. So we shut the shop down for 3 hours, turned on Disney music, ordered pizza, just so they could just kind of catch their breath. And we weren't sure if the lines would start forming again. And 3 o'clock, sure enough, the line started forming again, and we were able to stay open for a couple more hours before we ran out of ice cream again. So the support has been absolutely amazing.
Amber, can you talk a little bit about how things operate? Those who work have uniquely abled, I love that term, folks. So who are they and how do you hire? And how does it work?
Actually, I'm gonna pass that over to Lindsay. That's her area of expertise.
She's operations. Okay.
So like I said earlier, we had about 15 employed, either that I had worked with or we were a group of us were a part of a dance group pre-COVID called the Golden Stars. And so about 8 of our employees came from there. We would meet every Wednesday night, go to dinner, take dance class from a professional dance instructor. And they all just loved being together. And only a few of them had a job and they had graduated from that 18 to 21-year-old program and were just looking for something meaningful. So like I said, we had about 15 hired before, and then we were able to hire 5 additional. We did contract with an employment services advocate when we first opened our doors, and she was very helpful in the interview process, kind of an assessment of where they're at. And then we were able to build upon that. So, and we're still learning, their skills in the operation of the shop because we want it what's best for them, not what necessarily is best for the business. So, me and a couple other managers, we're working right now on our workflow and, what we think each super scooper is good at, but we also want to push them outside their comfort zone too. So if they're not really into customer service, we want to push them and try to interact with the customers too. So
now is your employee age range 18 and older rather than high schoolers or even older adults?
It is 18. The oldest that we had was 43. And then we kind of, as we've met with our board, we've realized that that 18 to 21, is really the time that we want them to come to the Golden Scoop. We do have a wait list right now of about 30 people, and we stopped that last May of 2021 because of the influx of applications. We just couldn't keep up. But I get emails, every week, multiple emails about employment and when we're going to be able to start the hiring process again. So we're actively looking to open up more Golden Scoops so that we can do that. Like Amber said, there's 250,000 uniquely abled people just in Kansas City, and we want to be able to service all of them, or as many as we can.
Yeah. Oh, Ruth, you're on mute.
That's the magic of doing a podcast. Sorry about that, audience. I was so intent on listening to them. I was saying all your fans are ready for more locations. We're talking with Amber Schreiber and Lindsay Krumholtz. They are the co-founders of the Golden Scoop, a nonprofit that is employing the uniquely abled and offering great ice cream and coffee. So let's talk a little bit about role and function. Lindsay, you mentioned there are some adult managers there. These young people are not just thrown on their own, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So we, when we first started, we had, it was just pretty much Amber and I, and then we were able to bring on 3 shift managers, all with a background in special education or education of some sort. And then we have a volunteer program too. It's been, we've gotten school districts in, we've gotten retired nurses, retired teachers to come in and work with our super scoopers. So people that have been in the field and that are passionate about it. So we do want to try and get that one-on-one support, especially when they first start at the Golden Scoop, so that they can develop those skills. And we have some already that are completely independent on everything in the shop, all the machines, the ice cream machine, the coffee machine. So, that's our goal, is to push them to their max. And but with the one-on-one support, it's been great. So we want to continue that.
So what's the best way for folks to find out about you and volunteer opportunities and supporting you?
Yeah, so you can look at that on our website at www.thegoldenscoop.org. There is a volunteer tab, and Katie, our manager and training coordinator, she's in charge of the volunteer process. So she'll take you through an orientation, and we do require background checks for all of our volunteers as well.
So how does the training work with these young people that you're employing? I would assume they go through a process of some kind.
Yeah, so when we initially opened, we did a 2-week training where it was different stations, like scooping ice cream, register, making coffee, and then just kind of saw like where they were best at, and started them there. And then, like I said, they've all gradually kind of moved up. We are in the process of creating, as we're able to hire more, what we're going to call the Golden Scoop Academy. So it's going to be more of like a curriculum, I guess, of like, hygiene and customer service, role playing, just how long they can be on their feet, just kind of assess if they enjoy interacting with customers or if they kind of would like to be behind the scenes, different things like that. So we're in the process of developing that. We have brought on a HR disability employment professional, and he is helping us with that curriculum. So we're in the very beginning stages of it, as we're looking for locations and going to start being able to hire more. So it'll be a great way to keep them successful.
So how soon are we going to see more Golden Scoops, and where are you looking so we all can be on the lookout?
Right now, we're trying to make this pitch deck to donors and investors. We've identified 3 potential areas, 2 in the Kansas City area, and then 1, a business executive developer approached us for a place outside of Kansas City, not too far away. So we're researching, we're asking a lot of questions, we're trying to get more information so that we can put together a concise plan that we can then communicate to everyone who wants to contribute to making that plan happen.
Amber, coming from that background of business, and sometimes we stereotype it, and I think rightly so at times, it's a rough and tumble, it's the bottom line, it's, go, go, go.
Yeah.
Yet you're working with a business that has a very altruistic background to it. So be interested to know how you've been able to marry those approaches.
Oh, it's been easy. No, I mean, it's we want to have fun. we're very bright and vibrant, and we're quirky and intriguing. And yeah, so we built this brand. I think what's helped is that with my business background, I know that we need marketing help. We need marketing people. So, and with that, understanding our culture at the same time and marry the two. So culture has definitely come first in our book, and having that fun place to be where people can fail and not have the finger pointed at them. And we know that if there is a problem, if a mistake is made, there's always a solution, right? We can figure it out, we can fix it. And I think that kind of makes us different from, other places of employment, because we're a very supportive and nurturing environment.
Boy, wouldn't it be great if we could get more of that in the regular workplace?
Right. Not just from an employer, but like it just in society in general. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you find are your greatest challenges in you're running a nonprofit that's a business with a very special population? I'd love for both of you to take a shot at it. It'd be interesting to see if you think the challenges are the same.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lindsay.
I think for me, it's, not being able to hire all of them. I think that I wish that we could do that. And that is our hope, that we can hire all of them. So we get a lot of people, like I said, every week that want to work at the Golden Scoop, and we want them there too. So I think that's the biggest challenge for me.
I would concur with that. In addition, I would say we started this from scratch. We've never been business owners before. We've never run a retail ice cream coffee shop before. But we're passionate, and we'll dig in and we'll make it happen. Connecting with the people to help us make that happen has been huge. I will say that's been a challenge too, with as many people that have come forward that want to help. We're kind of at, we've been at this point where we're kind of stuck and have been having a hard time answering that question, because we're still like taking in all of this information and lessons learned to make sure we're putting the Golden Scoop on the right path. I think that's what keeps us up at night, is, maybe one decision that we make could sink the whole thing, and then families lose hope that there's any meaningful employment for their son or daughter, down the road. So yeah, I think that's some of our challenges for sure.
Well, we hope we can connect you with some folks that'll help you sleep at night and not sweat it, because you're doing just remarkable work. And as you say, it's so needed in the community when you have over 200,000 people who have a passion, who want to work or want to give back, want to having something meaningful, but they've just got some things that they have to overcome or deal with to make that happen. What advice would you give now, having walked this walk kind of for 3-ish, almost 4 years, to others who might want to, start a nonprofit or work with a special population, no matter what it is? I stumped the band there. That's
I know.
What would you say? You've had this lived experience now. So I'm wondering, when you sit down and maybe have coffee with somebody and they say, well, we want to do X or Y. I mean, what would you say to them?
I would ask them if they have the drive, if they have the passion. Are they prepared to have some sleepless nights? Are they, to make this work for the people that they're serving and supporting? Are you willing to take criticism? Yeah, there's a lot of highs and lows. There have been a lot of highs and lows for us, and you've got to have some pretty thick skin. And, some of the best advice that we got, I forgot her name. She's with Global Prairie. Yeah. Some of the best advice. So we approached this lady about because we had questions about how do we form our board of directors? Like, what's the process? How do you go about that? And she, in the beginning, before we got into the substance of that, she goes, the best advice I could give somebody is to put your ego and pride to the side, and don't get in the way of your mission. If you need help, ask for it. If you're not good at financials, get somebody to help you, or
surround yourself with people that are smarter than you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And you know what? We've grown a ton because of that advice, and we've taken it very seriously to surround ourselves with people that are way smarter than us.
It's got to be really rewarding, Lindsay, to see this though happen and see these young people. I mean, they're having fun, they're working, and the lucky people who get your ice cream.
Right.
If you can, just share how that makes you feel, having come this far with it.
I love walking into the shop. I mean, we always say, we've had customers come in and say, I've had a bad day. I needed to come to the Golden Scoop to put a smile on my face. And that's exactly what you get when you walk in the doors. You might hear Disney music one day, or our Super Scoopers might be singing karaoke when you walk in the door. So it's joyful. And honestly, it's so awesome to see how far in just a year and a half all of them have come. We had people hiding behind counters because they didn't want to interact with customers, and now they're out interacting with the customers. And so I think that is definitely just all of their progress. We have a young man that has OCD and doesn't like working with sanitizer and different things like that. He's doing the dishes, he's washing the tables, he's now doing stuff at home. And so that just, that's what it's all about.
So while we're talking about cold stuff, you're giving us the warm and fuzzy. So you're open Wednesdays through Sundays. People should probably go to the website to check the very latest. Ice cream and coffee. And I saw there were a few other little yummy bites that one can partake. And you all are doing amazing work. What a wonderful opportunity, and love that you're working together as sisters. I hope that works out okay for you.
Yeah. Sometimes we got to give each other some space, but we know we can come back together and make stuff happen. So it's all good.
And I would hope the backing of your families, because I'm sure this takes a lot of time.
It does. And actually, can I add something to?
Absolutely.
The question about what challenges you faced. So
sure.
There's a big education, not only to special needs families, but to the general public as well, about disability employment. One of the challenges we ran into when we first opened was in the first 2 weeks, we pay our Super Scoopers above minimum wage plus tips. We enabled a tip function on our point of sale. So we were communicating to the customers as they were coming in the first 2 weeks, hey, you can also tip on here, and it goes directly onto our Super Scoopers paychecks. So after the first 2 weeks, the Super Scoopers and their families get the first paycheck, and they had made like $500 in tips plus their above minimum wage. So they were making about $30 or $40 an hour, which is awesome. That's what we want. However, the families got concerned and they came to us and said they can't make that much. They can only have, because they receive federal benefits of SSI and Medicaid, they can only have $2,000 in their bank account at the end of every month. And if they're over, then they have to pay penalties back to the federal government. So, and that's just one issue, one challenge that we're facing right now. And I'm sure there's a lot more legislative reforms that we could probably push, just given the lessons learned we've learned as an employer. So anyway, we've got a lot of cool people, in our foxhole that I think are going to be very resourceful and help us move that along. So we're anxious to get that going too.
Well, if you're one of those people who can help this dynamic duo do that, you should go to thegoldenscoop.org. Thank you both for being with us and for doing the amazing work that you do.
Thank you, Ruth. This has been fun. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Casey Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice. Spread the love and find us on Facebook and Twitter at Casey Cares Radio and Instagram at Casey Cares Online. We're on LinkedIn too under Charitable Communications. Catch us Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on ESPN 1510 AM and 94.5 FM. Thanks for joining us on Casey Cares.